Man, I think I picked the wrong time to go on as I'm just being told that Kansas City just scored with like a minute left. But what do you expect? What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. If you're on the East Coast and in Niagara, well, you know it's shitty outside. It's snowy, it's slutty, it's icy. There's another snowstorm coming tomorrow, so stay warm. If you're a football fan and you're not a Cowboys fan, put your hands up in the air. Crazy football week. And yeah, like I said, it's going to just get any more crazier with this game right now. So please, if somebody has the score or anything, if the Bills do come back, let us know in the chat. All right, we're joined by two people today, two amigos. One is making his return. He hasn't been on in about 2 months, I think. So he's making his 2022 debut. It is none other than Mr. Hyper Combo. What's up, man?
Has it really been 2 months? I think
you weren't in December. You weren't on in December. It's January. We're at the end of January. So
okay, all right.
2 months.
We're approaching 2 months, but I don't think it's been over 2 months. But
2
yeah,
months.
it's good to be back though.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. Next amigo that we got on, he's already made his debut. He's popped his cherry on the Newbieverse. So let's bring him out again, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mr. Specs, man. What's going on, brother?
What up, man? What up?
Hi, really quick. Are you wearing a blue shirt or is that gray?
Wait, you're asking me or Specsman?
No, I'm asking you.
Because I thought I'm wearing like a gray shirt.
Okay, it's gray. It kind of looks like a light blue. So I just didn't want the people in the chat to think that we, coordinated our.
I don't know how you got blue from this.
It kind of looks like it. But so what's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Good, man. Chilling.
Yeah, good. Like I told you, just doing some changes with the new comic book day for 2022. Trying to restructure the pull list.
You want to let the people know what you're doing?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I kind of already spoke to it a bit on the Kingpins, but yeah, I'm basically cutting back heavily on the pull list just because this year I'm just kind of focusing on some books that I've been eyeing the last year or two, and I figure, okay, with the wheels being in motion with certain things in the MCU, probably I don't want to drag my feet too long. So yeah, just making some sacrifices here and there. That doesn't mean I'm gonna stop reading. It's just that
yeah,
in terms of keeping up with the new stuff every week is gonna have to be drawn back a bit.
You know what? And that's okay, because if you're after big keys, I mean, it's I know I live by it. I know Specs, he kind of has similar things, but like you can use the hobby to pay for itself and fund some of these bigger books. So hopefully it happens for you, because I know the books that you're going after. I think I kind of told you, I'm like, hey man, maybe kick the tires on this. So yeah, hopefully, man. And plus, okay, like let's call it what it is, but I mean, like, you can read online, or there are some sites that have like the books, right? So like if you wanted to save a buck, and I get the whole artist and writer and this and that, but I mean,
well, no, because the issue with me is I was actually pulling up more books than I actually could keep up with in my reading pile. So in a sense, I'm actually just adding to my backlog. So it also just doesn't make sense for me to just continue with some of these titles until I catch up with some of the stuff that I'm pulling. So just to even on a catch up basis, it almost makes sense for me to cut down on my pull list.
Yeah. Light week, heavy week. What do you guys think? Specs, what do you think? I know you you get a lot, and I know your end goal, you like to collect a lot. You order, pre-order a lot, but do you think it's a heavy week this week, light week? Where did you go heavy this week?
I think we'll talk about the books I went heavy with. I think I'm just looking at my order for this week. Last week was a heavy week in terms of a lot of books I read, and just looking through everything, I think it's a fairly light week for me. But there's some big books that I spent a lot of money because I ordered a lot of copies of books, but the number of individual books I got it's not as big as it was last week. And in the coming weeks too, I just finished my FOC. It closes tomorrow, and there's a lot of books on that too. So it's like, this is kind of a lull week. So
yeah, this FOC, I think the big one on FOC was that the Iron Fist 1, right? That was like the big one for the one that closes tonight.
That was last week.
That was last week?
Yeah, okay, that was last week. This week is, let me look, a bunch of second prints, which I'm always getting now just because. Trying to look at what I ordered big on. I didn't order a ton on everything, but definitely like there's some. I mean, like Black Widow 15 is on this one. It's the last book in the run. It's an amazing Adam Hughes cover. I think I ordered 10 of them. There's a couple books like that. But yeah, Avengers Forever second print. That's on FOC. Shang-Chi #7 second print. That's on FOC. Death of Doctor Strange Bloodstone second print. That's on FOC. Captain America,
which is
Iron Man.
so lazy what they did. So
Yeah.
fucking lazy what they did, man.
It doesn't take away from the fact though that the 1 in 10 is still her first.
No,
Whatever
100%, but it's just so late. Like, at least make the color different, or like,
Yeah, they made the trade dress different. It's gray on the first print and red on the second print. That's it.
Jeez, man. So yeah.
So.
All right. Well, hey, let's get started with the show. Let's say hello to the chat real quick before we get into the newbie verse and we talk new comic book day. Dan Delatorre, I don't know what you're talking about with silver because I see you taking home gold. Michael, what's going on, man? You're taking home the silver. I'll take whatever the Rams had. Wow, what an ending. Yeah. It was just crazy. Uncanny Swag, what's going on, man? You're taking home the bronze. So 3 for 3 Americans taking the fucking medals. Come on. Where are my Canadians at? Tim, I see Dan with gold, Barker with silver, and Swag with bronze. Me with the participation ribbon. Yeah, right. Us Canadians, we're always looking for like a ribbon. We're always looking. Empire, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Drax, what's happening, brother? Bloop, Michael, Bleeker, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Dun, 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 dun. A lot of snow in St. Catharines today. I hope you did well at the Turner Street flea market. Dun, 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 dun. It looks like Buffalo scored. So it looks like it's going to be Buffalo and Cincinnati. Damn. Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that's on FOC also this Monday.
For this Monday. All right. Wow. Buffalo with the TD. All right. AOA. All right. Well, let's get into the new comic book day, comic news, and a little bit of spec. Specs Man is going to have a spec book to add to the list at the end as well. So, hopefully everybody, is quiet and listening and, lets them say his piece. I think I'm the only one that's ever done spec after like Hyper. I think Hyper was the only one that's ever done spec on the show, right?
Didn't BC do it once?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Maybe. I don't want to say maybe. All right. Well, let's get into it. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, and I do want to say something. Next Tuesday, when we do the hottest comics of I was dying laughing today. Next Tuesday would be January, so the hottest comics of January, because we'd be in February, right? And literally all the books on that list are either Star Wars or Moon Knight. It's crazy.
Wait.
From January, that's the only books.
I'm saying mainly, so like maybe
Okay,
like
all
7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. There's
They're
obviously
all-
more,
They're
but
all Marvel for sure. But
oh yeah. There's
I
I
think-
don't
I
think
think
there's
Thor
DC.
and Strange Academy would have something, and Bloodstone would have something to say about it. Yeah.
Naomi didn't make the cut, so
I mean, the only DC book I could think of was that 1 in 25 Catwoman from last week that really went like 5 times ratio.
Ooh, yeah. Man, who would have thought that? Well, I guess if you know, right? But yeah. All right, gentlemen. So we're gonna start the Newbie Verse episode 78. First up, channel sponsor Bleeker Street. You guys just heard me talking about it. Bleeker's in the chat right now. Turner Crest Flea Market every Sunday. Make sure you guys go check them out if you're in the area. A lot of good deals there. A lot of long box, a lot of good stuff. Also, make sure you guys go check out the website, bleekerstreetcomics.com. $10 a press, $5 a clean. So if you're in Niagara, you don't want to drive to Toronto or further, there you go. $10 a press. Next up, we got Big B Comics. Make sure you guys go check one of their stores out, Barrie, Hamilton, or Niagara Falls. Sometimes they leave some stuff. Like this week, I got a book that they said, hey, noob, you know what? We got you covered. I know you didn't order that many, but I got you covered. I got an extra 2. Here you go. So I'm very thankful and, appreciative of Big B. So sometimes they do have stuff that maybe your shops didn't have. Make sure you guys go check them out. Wow, I'm not even drinking. I'm slurring my words already. So Big B Comics, guys. All right, let's kick it off. Images first. We got Stray Dogs, Dog Days #2. Hype. You were on the Stray Dogs thing when it first came out. I know all those guys at Comic Kingpins like BC, Keys. BC, I think he skipped it actually. I think it was more Face and Keys. But
No, I think BC actually had it on his poll as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Certain, yeah.
What are your thoughts? It's the end of this mini series.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
nothing to me, man. I'm gonna be honest. It's nothing for me.
Aside from obviously the dope variant horror homage covers that we were getting in the previous series, I just like the story in general for the previous, the 5-issue original run. My only criticism was obviously that I felt that it was a bit too short, and I kind of wanted a bit more meat on the story. That was the only thing. But I am on this series. I haven't picked up issue 1 yet, just because I only went to my LCS for the first time this week in 2022. It's just been a hectic, year so far for me with work and all that. So I still got to pick up issue 1 of this to, catch up to issue 2. But yeah, I'm definitely on this one. And I'm picking up the horror homage. I forgot which movie this pays homage to, but there is a B cover that does have a horror homage.
Yeah, I thought somebody had posted. I can't remember the movie cover either, but I'm sure.
I know the last one was a Freak Show, but or Creep Show. Sorry, but
yeah, Creep Show.
I don't know about this one. I have to check out the B cover, but I do have both reserved at my LCS.
Specs, are you on the Stray Dogs story, or just collecting it at all?
I was, yeah. It was like one of the first books when I got my Diamond account where I was like, let's buy 25 of these, like number 1, and like see what happens, right? So like
that panned out pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I didn't sell any of them when they were cracking, but I'm looking at like 898s on my wall right now, so hopefully they'll spike back up. But I'm on it. This is an anthology though, right? This isn't even an actual story. They're like mini stories about all the dogs, right? And like I'm gonna buy 1 A cover. Right.
That's
I think, I think Stray Dogs Dog Days 1 had 76 different variants, and this one has like close to that many as well. Right. And so in playing the game of like which variant is going to be the variant, like there's too many of them, I just go 1A.
Cover A.
Cover A. I've really enjoyed the story. It's something that like a lot of people that I know that don't read comics, like female friends, I'm like, hey, you should read this, right? Like it's something you can get people into. So I think it's cool. It's a cool take. The tone of it's really cool. It's just get your paper, but this Dog Days just feels like a significant cash grab that has there's no story to it at all. It's literally 2 anthology books. So I'll get 1A, I'll read it, check the box, and keep it moving.
I think you're right though too. When there is so many like different variants, or like it just goes crazy, I just like to cover the bases and just say, you know what, just get cover A. I think that's a safe bet. And but I'm off Stray Dogs, man. I just never really jumped in on it. I didn't really care for it. I remember when we were talking about it when it first came out. I mean, yeah, was there money to be made, and is it a good story? Yeah, I don't know. I really don't care, to be honest. So
Hyper, I'm trying to figure out what is the B cover, but there's literally 56 covers for me to scroll through to figure out which one's the actual B.
I think it's better, like if you go to the Diamond website, I'm sure it'll narrow it down, because Diamond won't show you the store exclusives.
Yeah, I'm on the League of Comic Geeks, but there's too many. The Goosebumps, see, I look at them. I was looking at the one is sick, but like I have a rule that if a variant goes up for sale and it's not sold out for 24 hours, I'm not buying it after that, because that's indicative of what the demand would be afterwards. And it's been up for 4 days, and there's still some available. Yeah. So
now Miss Prime is also on that, man. Such a cash grab. No need for this 2-issue mini. Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, I don't even want to get started. I don't want to go down that hole because I don't want to offend anybody, because I know lots of people are on it and they've been collecting it and this and that. I don't know. Okay, what were 9/8 going for at the height of it? Do you guys remember? I never really cared for it. I've seen that one.
I'm not a horror junkie, but is that Carrie? I don't know. I can't tell.
Ooh,
I don't know.
I think Carrie's like the front end of a car, isn't it? Isn't that like what the VHS is? But
this looks familiar, but I can't put my name. I'm sure someone in the chat will probably figure it out.
It might be Pet Cemetery.
No, they already did Pet Cemetery.
No, they already did that one. Yeah, they did that.
Now they're just stretching, but yeah, when they do like Alley Cats or something like that, I'll be back on it. Right? But for now, I'm chilling.
Comic Kingpins are in the house. What's going on? Weird that story is ending and they're introducing new dogs. Haven't heard anything about more Stray Dogs coming. We'll see. Steve, what's happening, man? Stray Dogs was a cool story. The horror homage cover was dope, but I'm over the hype. Yeah, exactly. And I think people were just like, people are expecting those 9/8 to just come back. And Spexman, I know you have some, but like, what were they going for at the height? Was it like a $400 book in 9/8?
350, 400. I think like the acetate cover was up to $5. The Silence of the Lambs is like 350, 400, and the A cover was about the same.
That was the winner, right? The Silence of the Lamb one was like
no, this is the winner. Hold up.
It was that one. It was at 1 in 25 that acetate.
Oh right, yes, yeah. No, the
That
Blair.
one-
No,
Yeah,
but I'm
Blair-
talking about just regular open order.
Oh,
covers,
gotcha.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of exclusives, yeah, you definitely have more exclusives that did catch a lot more heat. But in
Yeah.
terms of, I think, open order, I think it was that acetate.
All right, let's get off the dogs and go into the rabbits.
Oh, Trick or Treat. Okay, there you go. That's the movie homage.
Oh, okay. And thanks for Drac.
What last
think
thing I'll say
Dragon
on that too is that Image was like, we're not doing any second prints, but we'll let 75 shops print 5,000 copies of
I
this
know,
book.
man.
Like this is gonna. So
Let them deal with the paper shortage, I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. We should just recycle all the Turok ones, man. That's all I'm saying. Just I've said it before, just
Or the
saying.
Ludocrat ones.
Or the well, I mean, they're pretty rare already, man. All right, you saw you
green
Jimbo
arrow.
number 1. Faces in here, but this is something that he's picking up. A few people, who I follow on Instagram are always picking this stuff up. I've never really gotten into the character myself, but Hype, there was a time where you were picking up the 1 in 10s, correct?
Yeah, but that was for the ongoing.
Yeah,
because this is just a reprint, I believe, of previous Usagi stories. So I was picking up the 1 in 10s for the ongoing. Haven't really seen any 1 in 10s lately that have kind of caught my eye. So I kind of pick and choose with those.
Yeah. What's going on, Serge? Specs, you on Usagi Yojimbo at all or no? No? Yeah, you're just like me, man.
I actually bought one 2 weeks ago, which is that first appearance, and I didn't realize when they came out, but they did an Abeto number 3, which is his first appearance, homage in the first appearance that came out a few months ago. So I just paid up and bought that because it looked dope. But yeah, I'm not on this. At first, I was trying to do the math of like, okay, well, if I order 10 and I can get them for 2, then that means that I can get 25 for. But yeah, it's the margins aren't there, and I'm not reading it. So
yeah. What's up, Ozzy? How's it going, guys? Make sure you guys go check out Ozzy's channel. He's doing these segments like what's the show called?
Inside the Studio?
Inside the Studio. I was gonna say Behind the Studio. Anyway, he chose me for this week's episode. It's up right now on his channel. It's a good time. It's actually like basically Newbie outside of comics. It's just a good time. So make sure you guys go check it out. Ozzy was a good host and he's a good guy. So make sure you guys go check him out. All right, DC, let's go. We got a historic issue coming out, issue 1050. I could care less about this. I'm not really picking up a lot on DC's end this week, but 1050, that is a lot of issues. A lot of people are on it, of course, because every time I don't put this book up, BC or somebody's like, hey, don't forget Batman or don't forget this. So here it is, landmark issue 1050. Hype. Anything to add?
This is one of the titles I ended up cutting because I'm a Batman fan and I actually have been pulling Detective Comics and Batman, like the proper Batman, ongoing since the whole Rebirth stuff started. It's just that with this particular Shout Out to the Bat, I believe they actually switched it to a weekly issue. And to me, it's like, and now it's like $4.99 per issue. So it's like to have a Batman, and this is, I think, spans 10 or I don't know how long this storyline is, but it's not just 6 issues, I believe. So I'm just gonna wait this out until this gets discounted because with DC, I'm kind of at a breaking point with their price increases, and I just find that the story is not. It's not the same when you're just getting like these little backup stories. I'd rather get more of the same story rather than just giving me the main story, and then they'll put like a little mini backup story of another title that I don't care for. So that's why with DC, I'm kind of cutting back on that, and this is one of the titles on the chopping block for me.
Specs, what do you got to say?
No, I'm not picking this up. I mean, I like reading. I like reading Batman, but I've kind of got to the point now where I was trying to read it all, and then I just get mixed up into what stories are happening. So I'll read the main Batman title, and I'll read a couple more like Batman included titles, like DC versus Vampires, Heavy Batman. I really like Steel, but if I read too many, I just forget. Like they all intertwine with each other, and I forget what happened in the last one. And yeah, I'm not reading this.
Yo, that's a good thing that Comic Kingpins are saying too. It's like, why is it a landmark at 1050? Like they just, 50 issues ago, you just hit the 1K. Like, I don't know. I think that's a little stretch, but
It's like in multiples of 50s or something. It makes it a landmark, I guess.
fuck.
Well, yeah, when you're
Will,
putting it
what's
out
happening,
when you're putting it out weekly, that's a landmark issue every year.
It doesn't feel that long ago that we had issue 1000 for Detective Comics.
Yeah.
I mean, now
Yeah,
we're in a
because it seems
stage
like
where
they're 2 issues a week almost. I know it doesn't, but like that's just what it feels like. I don't know. I've just never really.
well, I mean, before the shakeup, I know that Batman and Detective Comics was coming out bi-weekly. So even then, that was a bit of a struggle as a collector, just because if you're on a budget and you have to keep up with these titles, to have them bi-weekly on top of the other stuff, it was a bit much on my end, at least.
Can you imagine being like Face and having this on your pull list, or not Face,
Well,
but Hyper, and like not going to your shop for 2 months and showing up and you have to buy 9 issues of Detective Comics because it's come out every single week since the last time you were there?
that was actually the situation I faced because I didn't go to my LCS for like the past month or so. When I went there this past Saturday, like my pile was bigger than I expected because that's what happens when you don't pick up your books on a weekly basis. So
What was 1027? 1027 was a huge book.
yeah, no, because it's because Detective Comics 27 was the first appearance of Batman, right? So that's why they made it like 1,000 issues after his first appearance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like a cash grab. Yeah. All right, we got some number ones here. So we got Batman Catwoman special. I mean, it's got a Christmas tree. Kind of weird because Christmas is over. We got Superman and Robin special, and then Peacemaker number 1. So we got 3 number ones. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not getting any of them. I just not really a fan of it. Saving the money, so I'm passing on this. You guys picking any of these up?
So I am picking up the I almost said Catman, Batman and Catwoman, the 12-issue mini run, just because I was reading, the Tom King Batman run, and this apparently, this is like, I guess, his continuation because DC cut him before he could finish his vision for Batman. So that's why I was picking up the 12-issue. I'm not picking up the special right away because it is a $9.99 price tag. So, and usually I find when DC does these specials, they tend to just supplement the story, but they don't really. It's not essential, at least in my eyes. So this might be something I'll pick up when it's like on a 50% off thing or something like that. But I'm not picking this up day one.
$9.99 is just ridiculous for something like this. Okay, like I'm not trying to show. I'm not trying to say anything, but like $9.99 should be on books like Elsa Bloodstone, Thor 20, Thor 21.
Don't give them any ideas.
No, I'm not. But I'm just saying, like that's where those prices should be, not on fucking Batman Catwoman special. You know what I mean? Like that's
is
just
it prestige format?
I would imagine because I will say this much about DC. Like whenever they do have a $9.99 book, it more often than not ends up being a prestige format because that's what they do with their 100-page anniversary issues that were $9.99. They've all been prestige. So I can bet that this is probably going to be the same thing.
I hate those books because I don't have a box for them, so they like float around my house all the time. Because
no, sorry. When I say prestige, I don't mean like magazine prestige. I meant it'll have like the square bound binding, but I think it'll still be the same.
Or just read it at your local library.
Yeah, that's it. Listen, Moonlit. I don't know if you caught. I think I told this on your show, but because of the whole COVID restrictions, our libraries are shut down at the moment. So no visiting the library for me.
And big shout outs to Moonlit, Michelle over there, because she just did her own YouTube on her channel. She broke the cherry. She was, not tired of going on other shows, but she was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And she finally did it. She did a Moon Knight review. Hyper was on there along with a few other people. But yeah, it was a good time. And I'm happy that she's doing it. So hopefully it's like a weekly thing. Hopefully not a weekly thing that she talks about Moon Knight, but I mean like just a weekly thing where, she kind of does her own thing on her own channel.
Yeah, it was a fun time, man. Those 2 or so hours flew by pretty fast, at least for me. So it was a good discussion about the Moon Knight trailer.
Boys, that was the best game of football I've seen in a while now. Time for it's just been good football like the last 2 days, man. It's just been really good. So, but yeah, like Bill Belichick would say, on to Cincinnati. All right, we're gonna go on to Marvel, and before we continue on Marvel, just because for whatever reason, as soon as we got to the Marvel stuff, I guess my PowerPoint was just like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna save this stuff, but we do have to talk about a book that's not on this right now. It is Black Panther #3. The 1 in 25 is already going for extremely big money. A lot of people are going after that. It might be at some shops, so I say that locally here, you know, maybe in Canada in a few shops because a lot of people slept on it. There's also a first appearance. So it's like a defender. I don't even want to pronounce the guy's name. So if Specs or Hype, if you guys have any information on how to pronounce it, or you guys want to take a crack at it, go ahead. I'm not going to. I'm just going to say there's a first appearance in Black Panther 3. It looks like it's a good book to have. I am got one on pre-order, so I'm good. But other than that, I didn't really go heavy on it. I might be able to get a few more copies if there's like a little flip action to it or it's catching heat. But other than that, I'm only sticking to the one copy. What are your guys' thoughts? Hype?
So the guy's name, I'm gonna
Oh,
for I don't know if we have any Wakandan people in the chat, but it's Tosin Oduye.
That was pretty good. Okay. Tosin.
but-
I can do that. Tosin.
Yeah.
Is
But,
it a
yeah.
woman or is it a dude?
No, it's a dude.
It's a
It's a
dude.
dude.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be picking this up just because I am curious. Just from there is a bit of hype surrounding this appearance. So I'm not gonna go heavy on it because I never go heavy on something I'm not sure of. So I'll probably just like I have one reserve just out of curiosity, and then we'll see.
Specs, did you go heavy on this one? Or mind you, did you get the 1 in 25? Because I know you go big.
I did not get the 1 in 25, which is funny because in hindsight, like the A cover is horrendous looking. It's horrible looking. So I should have thought about that. You know, I think this series has been really good. Like 1 and 2, I went kind of heavy on, and there's a ton of first appearances in 1 and 2. I don't know why there's no hype around them. And then there's a kind of interesting thing in #1 where Wakanda switched. They have like a prime minister now, and like it's like a whole entire switch in politics, which makes it super interesting. But the solicitation for this one was funny because 1 and 2 came out. They're like, "Thank God Black Panther's not on the moon anymore," and it's like this solicitation is like Black Panther goes to Mars to visit Storm. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. He's going back to space, right? So I think I ordered 2 or 3, but yeah, I mean, I don't know why this character is getting more hype. I think maybe because there is a design variant, but if you go back and read through 1 and 2, there's a ton of first appearances in there. And so I don't know if this character is going to separate themselves from those other ones, or if maybe someone saw the design variant and, you know, the right person saw it and posted an article about it, and now it's going crazy. But yeah, I have a couple copies, but yeah, we shall see. But I didn't
Do you want to maybe, and this is open to both of you, but do you guys think that maybe this has the same Bloodstone vibe? I mean, I think Bloodstone is a little differently. I think that caught on for different reasons. Do you guys think that maybe it catches the same heat as that one?
No. Personally, I don't think so because the difference is Lyra, she had that familial ties with also Bloodstone that did kind of give some credence to her heat. In this case, it's just another character that they're introducing, you know, in the world of Wakanda that's gonna be playing in the. We don't know how much of a role or impact he's gonna have on the actual series itself. He could be one and done. He could be there just for a story arc. So I can't imagine this having the same kind of heat. If anything, it'll probably be like one of those things where it'll have that spike on New Comic Book Day, but then again, depending on how things play out with him, this could be one of those books that you might see back down, you know.
Yeah.
Not a cover price, but you know.
Do you think that maybe, and again, I always think that it's interesting when they bring certain characters, especially to some of the films that we might see. So like, you know, Wakanda Forever, obviously big question marks there, but like with, you know, Kevin Feige kind of taking over the comics as well, some of the characters that we do see in the comics, you know, sometimes or maybe might translate into the big screen. Do you think that maybe we see some of these characters?
It's funny you should say that because the person that's actually, you know, on the helm of doing this Black Panther is John Ridley, who is part of that Wakanda TV series. So that's why I would pay attention to this series, just because, you know, usually when you have someone in the film side kind of taking part. It's like the same thing with like the director of Batman is doing a series currently in DC right now.
What was it? The 3-part series in Batman, right?
Yeah, I can't remember
the
name, but
Imposter. He did the Imposter.
No,
The Imposter. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
usually I tend to pay attention to those just because their influence might bleed into the comics, what their vision is in the actual TV or film.
Yeah. Something to watch. I mean, I know I went big on, Web of Spider-Man 1 with Harley Keener just for that simple reason too. I mean, yeah, Iron Man, character, but at the same time, I mean, I do think that there's a future there for that character, so you never know. All right. This is what I mean. My PowerPoint failed me on cover A, but this is probably going to be the book of the week. This is the book that everybody's going to go crazy for. It is Thor 21. So cover A does not look space. It is not one of those, see-through ones that, was all the rage like 2 weeks ago, the invisible ones. And then on the right there, I mean, we do at least get the 1 in 25 there. The 1 in 25 is already selling for $150 Canadian. Already 150 Canadian. People were selling them. I have about 3 or 4 people selling some stuff on Instagram that had them at $149 US. So you could probably get it a little cheaper in Canada. I got 3 copies of Thor 21. That's it. Just cover A, but they are sold out everywhere in this, 2.5 hour radius of shops that I have. It's just done. But this is going to be a crazy book. This is the one where everybody's just going to go nuts. I will tell everybody in my area, if you go anywhere in this area, any shop, Big B, Freak Show, Mostly. By the way, fuck Mostly.
Is that the name of a store?
Yeah. Sketch. All those stores are sold out. So
wait, I'm just curious. Why of all those stores you singled out this Mostly as fuck Mostly?
Oh, they just on Wednesday they are notorious for if a book gets hot, they just sell it for like $60. So like that Moon Knight book,
the Raza cover.
Yeah, he had it and he was selling them for $60 on Wednesday.
It's not even going for 60 on eBay though.
I know. That's the same guy that the Solid Blood 20 he tried to sell me for $50 or whatever. Remember? So
Solid Blood.
I
Yeah,
actually don't knock shops for doing that. To be honest with you,
it's like the only one that does it, and it's the I don't know. It's just I got personal.
If you have a pull list and they try to tax you, like fuck them for sure. But like, I think it hit home with me the other day when I was looking at FOC, and it's SRP. It's suggested retail price. Right, it's a suggested price, right? So like, I don't know. I just think that if you order books or you have a pull list, like that's the way to go. Expecting to show up and like get it for $3.99 when it's going for $35 is tough.
I know. It's just Wednesday should be Wednesday. It's always been you sell it at retail. Like at least lie and say, you know what, well, I don't have any. I don't have any.
If you had one, would you sell it at retail on Wednesday right now?
I sold mine. I sold mine way under. I sold mine for like $25, $28.
Okay. Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing. Okay, the thing is, you're right.
But like 60? Come on.
No, but here's the thing. Like, as a business owner, you do have the right to price however you want. No one's gonna take that away from you. But I think it's a matter of building goodwill towards the people in your shop. So when you see and it leaves a sour taste when when they see. They walk in on Wednesday and they see a book that's not even in the realm of reality, like what Newbie said. A Raza cover that they're selling for 60. That's not even going at its. I don't think it even hit.
I think it's at $13 or $10 now. It's like dropped.
I mean, at its peak, I think I saw it at 40. Maybe.
At its peak was like Wednesday at 10 a.m. when shops opened, and like 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Like it was that bad of a peak.
My thing is, look, if after like a week or something, like the book, you happen to get it, that's different. But like, I just feel like just to gain that extra $30-$40 on that issue, it's a matter of like you're losing a bit of goodwill, in my opinion.
I can tell you a story. So my buddy goes like at open on Wednesday to pick up his books. He has a pull list and then buys extras, right? And he says when books like this come out, he always shows up at 10. They open at 10. On days like this, there's 25 people online that he's never seen before. at the comic
Mm.
shop trying to
Right,
go get
right.
the book at cover, right? And so
Right.
I agree. I think that like if you're like for me, there's an LCS I visit now, and they mark books up, but I know the owner. I press books for him. I do all that stuff. So if I walk in, like I didn't order enough copies, he'll sell it to me at cover because he knows me, recognizes my face. I spent money with him before, but at the same time, like by selling it for cover, you're almost cutting out the people who deserve to pay cover because everybody that's never been there before is like, or goes, buys 2 books a month and goes and like wants to go get in line because they know they can flip it and make $30. Like they go wait in line, the book sells out, and then you can't even get it for cover at all from your LCS because it's sold out.
Well,
right?
okay, so I get that, but I would say maybe the solution, maybe if the LCS, let's say, has a stock of those books at that they have on hand, maybe just limit what you want to put out on yourself on Wednesday, knowing that you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna leech off those books, and people that, like you said, that they never saw before in their life, that are just gonna come on that Wednesday, and then keep the rest maybe on the back end for when your actual customers ask for it, that may have missed it on the FOC or something, that you could sell those to them at cover.
So
I don't know.
I'm gonna let you guys know around here, most shops have now done the limit 2 per, so 2 copies per, and so the Hulk 3 that came out last week, I only got 2 copies at first, and then I saw that there was like a flip, right? Like I saw people were going nuts for it, so I'm like, fuck. I mean, my shop is full of them, so I went back and they gave me another 2 copies. But they said, they're like, hey, like you already bought 2 copies. And I was like, yeah, I bought 2 copies yesterday though. And they were like, yeah, it doesn't like, but this was like a new person.
Yeah.
Because like I talked to my guys at Big Beep and they were like, sorry, man. Like sorry. And I was like, no, it's all good. It's just like, I get it if it's like Wednesday, but like it's Friday now. It's been 2 days. So like if the whole stack is there, I mean, it's not like I take the whole stack. I just wanted to get a few more because I knew what they were going for. Right. I totally get what
Marvel's saying is probably the most valid way, which I've seen most shops do.
What's that? Sorry.
What Marvel's saying in the chat is probably what I think is the most like win-win, right? It's like they're going for 30, mark them for 15. They make an extra 10 and they build good faith, right?
Yeah.
Like
I could kind of get behind that one.
Yeah, I mean, no, this one shop though, it just is always notorious. And like I said, Hype, the story because we've done it, and even you were like, what? But like when Solid Blood came out, I mean, he was selling it for $60. It seems like he puts his books, at $60 sometimes, and it's just difficult to work with them. So yeah, and especially like like when you do have books pulled with them, like he'll just give them to other people, and it's just like it's just very annoying. So that's just where I stand.
Wait, you're saying that he takes books from your pull list and gives them to other people?
That's
no, like you'll say like, hey man, like can you pull this book for me? Yeah, no problem. And then you go there the day of, and he's like, oh, you didn't ask for this. Oh, you didn't say. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? You took my name. You took the copies. I told you early. So that's kind of why I stopped going there, because that was like walking distance from my house before, and I was like, man, fuck this. So I just now drive, and but.
There's LCS by me that owned by like a couple like younger kids, and they do the same thing. They mark up their ratios super high on release day, and then no one buys them, and then they sit on their shelves for 3 months, and then finally mark them down to like, because it hurts some of these shops on the other side of things, right? Where it's like 1 to 25 is going up for 50, they mark it for 70, then it drops from 50 down to 30, they have it on their shelf for 50, and 4 months later they can only get 25 for it. Right,
listen, so on 1 in 10s, I'm lucky that I get them at cover, which I think is like $6 Canadian. The 1 in 25s is usually $20. The 1 in 50 is usually 40. The 1 in 75s, which I've never gotten, are usually about 60, and then the 1 in 100s, which I've never gotten either, are usually about 75, 80, somewhere around there. So like
and these are even if the book is at the time selling for like double ratio, triple ratio on eBay. It's
exactly.
Still. Wow, that's pretty good, because I know most shops wouldn't do that. Yeah. If they'll recognize what it's selling for on eBay. I'm not saying that they'll match it, but they definitely won't be going under ratio for those kind of books.
Well, also if you're ahead of the curve, right? Like, you're good. Like the Elsa Bloodstone, the Something's Killing Children 16. I was way ahead, so that's why I was able to get the 1 in 25.
Oh, gotcha. So you kind of pre-order the price, like
as long as you're ahead, you're good. I know BC was looking forward to coming on the show because he had similar situations last last Wednesday, where Moon Knight 7, Venom 4, Strange Academy 15, and Hulk 3 were all priced at $20 a pop.
Yeah. What's funny about Hulk 3 is like I went to my shop on Saturday, so that's like 3 days after New Comic, and I still found a copy on the shelf for retail. So, for people that sometimes wonder, like, all the copies are dried up, you'll be surprised. There are some shops like, that still might have it at either they had them in their back and then they'll put them out after, or there might not be as much people in that area. So,
Yeah, I have one shop. I think I got 4 off the shelf yesterday. Hulk 3. It's like a gaming store that I think they just have their pull list and order 5 or 10 extra copies, so no one goes.
And then
there
they
to
just
hunt.
put them out. Yeah.
Yeah, no one goes there to hunt or like get in line. And so
I've started. You know what I've started doing though, because some people are like, "Man, you're what's wrong with the community? You take all the copies." I've started taking videos and like time stamping them of like where I go. So like my shop's closed at 6. I get off work at like 4:30. So like I'll go because the one Big B's like around the corner from my work. So I'll go there at like 4:45, 5 o'clock, and I'll go and pick up my copies. I'll be like, I got my copy, and then like I'll go over to where the stack is, and it's still full for some books. Like Hulk 3, Bloodstone. Like Bloodstone was still full stack at 6 p.m. when it came out, and it was just there. So I don't know. It's crazy. All right. Hottest book. This one's going to go for lots of money. I have actually already sold one of mine pre-sale. And I know Specs was like, dude, you need to hold it. So I've already sold one. I got 3, but this book is going to probably be the book. It's already like, cover A raw is like $32 somewhere around.
So what's the deal? Is it because it's considered as full appearance of the God of Hammers? Is that why this book is going for that much?
Yeah.
And his origin.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
first full in origin.
I've already
that's hyping this one too is the fact that everybody keeps like all the conversations I have with this one. Everybody keeps saying it's going to be like Black Winter. This is exactly like Black Winter. So I think people are just like that's like another selling point because then people go back and look at like 2 years ago and say, oh shit, a 9.8 Black Winter Thor 5 was like $400. Like we need to get these, right? And I think that that's the issue with this one. I think that this one's not going to reach those. I hope it does because I got copies, but I'm just saying I think sometimes they attach things to kind of hype it up a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I just checked because everyone's like, well, some people have said it's like Black Winter, like it's going to spike and then come back down. I just checked. Black Winter Raws are still selling for $30-$35, like Thor number 5. So like, yeah, I'll take I'll take the God of Hammers being like Black Winter. You know what I mean? I paid I paid $1.87 for every one of my copies. I got 104 copies. So like, yeah. So I'll take that, so.
And it's like North 49 says, won't know until you know. Absolutely. That's what any book, right? You just never know. But I think the driving force is, people are attaching, it's going to be like this. So like buy it because it's this reason, not just because like, it's going to be this. So hopefully, it is something. I mean, it would be nice. Who wouldn't want to have a book that, turns into $400 or $500? Like that's sometimes the goal. So,
I mean, my big thing on this is that they've really been building this storyline since the first issue, like Thor losing power over the hammer, right? Like this is like in the Black Winter, Black Winter stuff, the Donald Blake stuff, all of that stuff. Like this was always like intertwined within the narrative. So that's why when I saw it coming, I was like, okay, like let me do some math. It's either going to be 19, 20, or 21. Every time it's not it, I'm ordering more copies of the next, and that's how I end up here.
So. I don't think this one's going to be as big as people might think, though. But I mean, if people are willing to pay, $30, let them. I guess it's just.
I mean, there's certain runs like. On one hand, I just told you guys that I was cutting back on my pull, but on the other hand, there are certain titles that I'm actually getting double copies on my pull list. Like the Donny Cates Thor run, I have been getting double for the last 10 or so issues, just because knowing Cates, you just know that sometimes he'll play that long game. So just I don't have to call every shop on Wednesday or something. I just have 2 already secured.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from Thor, the book of the week, because I think it's also going to get some, love and hate for the first, the first full. You're gonna have those people saying, "Oh, it's first full, it's not, it's this, it's that, it's origin." But So we'll wait for that.
Yeah.
Another 2 books that are on the number 1 alert. There is a book missing because, again, I don't know why, but my PowerPoint didn't save a few things, which is super annoying. So I apologize. But we got hype. Help me out with this Star Wars one.
I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Halicoin Legacy. Okay, I was right. Halicoin Legacy, and then we got X Wolverine of Death or X Death of
10.
Wolverine. I was looking at Wolverine first. I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
10. It's 10. It's 10 deaths of Wolverine.
Okay, Death.
X Wolverines of Deaths.
Thanks, man. I think. Fuck. 10 Deaths of Wolverine. It's a sweet cover. I'll give it that. But number 1 alerts. I don't really know too much about any of that. But it's Star Wars white cover. It's a dope cover. Don't get me wrong. Few people are gonna go pick it up for sure. Number 1s, we always highlight them, of course. Any of you picking them up?
I am gonna wait for this mini series to wrap up because this is just going weekly between this and the 10 Lives of Wolverine back and forth. So I'm just gonna wait until this both arcs wrap up, and then I'll just read them. But I'm not picking it up currently on New Comic Book Day.
Halcyon Legacy. That's how you pronounce it. Halcyon. Okay. Try it. Silver coin. Specs, what are your thoughts? You picking any of these number 1s up?
The Star Wars, no. I think these are miniseries about ships. Like literally, they're like comic books about spaceships. So no, I've been like cutting back a lot on Star Wars. Like I'd rather chase down a key after the fact and pay 10 than pay $40 every 2 weeks for a bunch of Star Wars books I'm not actually reading. The 10 Deaths of Wolverine, it's a hard one, man. It's a $5.99 cover, you know, and all of them are $5.99 covers in USD, right? Every one of the X lives, and yeah. So this is where, like, you know, pre-ordering makes sense because, you know, even if you get 30% off, that matters a lot more at $6 than it does at $4. So I picked up one. There is one coming up that's on tonight's FOC, which has Dakin, Scout, Laura, and Wolverine all on the cover, and I hit a BC on this. I think it might be the first cover all 4 of them are on. It's number 3. I don't know. I forget if it's Deaths or Lives, but it's just. I mean, I'm a big fan of that whole family, right? I think you know, Laura's tight, and so yeah, I'm picking up a couple, and then once we get to that number, I'll pick up a few extra ones. But no, and but yeah, so it wasn't a good read. I have it right here actually. It wasn't a good read. So
they should have like a mini series like the 10 Baby Mamas of Wolverine. How many illegitimate kids does this guy have?
I know. I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, yo, how many kids does this guy have?
You know what's really funny? If you look at that, I think it's like Marvel Premiere 86. There's like some dorky. It's like in that whole Weapon X run. There's some dorky dude with a gun on the front with glasses. Like he's the cause of all this because at the end of that run, he like scrapes Wolverine on the way out of the Weapon X facility, and that gets his DNA, and that DNA created Dakin. It created Laura. It created Scout. It created 22 other clones that, like, Laura killed. I'm like,
and that Rain, his daughter Rain, that was popular. What was that? Marvel Comics Presents 6, I think.
Yeah, she did the narrative of that, and then there's also Wolverina. Don't forget about that one. So
he's just making Canadians look bad, you know, like all us Canadians just all we want is these kids, and we just don't care for them.
He's giving dudes that are 5'3" hope, man. You know what I mean?
It is true. He's fucking tiny as shit. But Logan is 100 years old. Keys is Wolverine confirmed. Yeah, fuck. That guy's been sleeping fucking all day. He needs to call me. All right. Specs, this one is a big one for you. And again, I apologize because the PowerPoint just didn't want to save the other image, but this one Specs has been talking about, and we've been talking about for a while. He told me, Noob, circle this one. These ones always go really nice. They're always sought after. I love this cover, but there is a 1 in 25, a 1 in 50, and a 1 in 100. What did you expect? Specs, I'll let you start this one off, but did you get any of the ratios?
Let me double check. No, I didn't because I'm buying this. This is 100% cover buy for me, right? I didn't. The ratios are Peach Momoko, Trade Dress, and Virgin. So no, this is easy money, right? For me in my mind, right? Like even if it doesn't spike this week, it's J. Scott Campbell on a book that's not going to be heavily ordered. It's written by Jed McKay, which helps a little bit, on the 2 sexiest characters that he draws. And he doesn't do a lot of like A covers, right? So like this is one of those, I mean, look at all the ASMs that he covers that he did and how much they sell for. Like and these are the 2 characters that he draws the best, right? And so like who cares, like, you know, it might sit on a shelf for a month, but it's one of those books that like 2 years from now it's going to be like hot spec cover buys, you know, like all of a sudden it's $30. And you know, I don't sell a lot of books, so I buy books and I want them to go up in value. This is a book for me that if it doesn't spike in the first week, first month, first 6 months, I know it's going to end up being worth more than cover eventually.
Yeah,
so I think I got like 15, you know, like just to have. So yeah.
I got 2 just based on your you know, your recommendation when you told me to. So I got 2, and yeah, same thing, right? I mean, sometimes people freak out if like it doesn't go up to like, you know, I always say, you know, on New Comic Book Day, if a book gets to $30-$35, like that's a good day, right? Like that's what you want. But yeah, if this one doesn't go up, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right with everything that you hit on right there. I mean, they just, you know, Campbell stuff does tend to do good, and yeah, you got the 2 sexiest characters. So hype. Picked it up or no?
I'm not gonna pick it up like on like this week, but I'm probably gonna pick it up like not like a year or so later, but maybe like when there's like, because like some of my shops do these sales where they reduce the price when it doesn't sell. So I'm probably gonna pick it up then, because I do feel, yeah, this is one of those books that might be more of a hold. It's not gonna be like a flip or anything like that. But I was looking at some of those ratios, and to be honest, I'm not sure why the A cover was open order. I felt they kind of did it backwards. I feel like the Campbell cover actually should have been a ratio. When I actually saw some of the other ratios, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like an Adam Hughes, I do like some of Peach Momoko's, but I just comparatively, I just thought this should have been better off as a ratio. But
that's the thing, is like make if they would have had the 1 in 100 with this Virgin, I might have been tempted, right? And it actually, when I saw all the ratios and saw all the variants, I ordered more of these because there wasn't a better, like this is 100% covered by to answer BC's question. There is no spec
for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the A cover, sure, but like, you know, how many people are pulling Mary Jane and Black Cat on their pull list, right? And if there would have been a Virgin or, you know, a sketch cover or something like that, I would have been less inclined, and I would have had to buy as many A's to get the ratios. But this is it, right? This is like, you know, so that seems like a missed opportunity for Marvel to do a Momoko Virgin for the 1 in 100, when this as a 1 in 100 Virgin would have been very tempting. So I bought more because this was the only J. Scott Campbell cover of the bunch. So,
well, if you want to talk a lot of covers, there is a book that a lot of people are on, and there's going to be a shit ton of covers, and I'm not on any of them because I can definitely find all these still on the shelf. You could find number 1 and all, like even the 1 per store variant on the shelf around here. I am talking none other than House of Slaughter. So we got the cover A, the 1 in 25, the 1 in 50, and the 1 in 75. Gentlemen, I did not pick any of them up, not even cover A. There's a lot of these House of Slaughter books still on the shelf. I don't think necessarily it's transitioned well, like Something is Killing the Children, as many people expected it to. Just simply because, like I said, I mean, you could still find issue 1, 2, 3 still on the shelf. You could still find a lot of those ratios. You could still find a lot of the, you know, especially in that 1 per store variant. So yeah, I'm not on it. I don't know. But there is a ton of covers for this. Any ratios? Did you pick anything up? Hype. I got to ask you, because, you know, I don't think we've spoken, like you haven't come on the show since like when this kicked off, but are you even on the run? Did you pick it up? Are you still on it? What are your thoughts?
So the funny thing is, like, you know, because I read Something is Killing the Children, so by proxy, I would be picking up some of these offshoots, because I do feel like, yeah, because this does actually tie into the history of, you know, the House of Slaughter and all that.
No.
Issue 1 and 2. So like, this is actually not on my pull list though, because the thing is, as you just mentioned, a lot of my shops ordered a lot of these covers. So I had no problem, like, after during the holidays, getting like the first 2 issues at 50% off during my shop's holiday sale. And I think that's kind of what I'm going to be doing with this series. I just feel like Something is Killing the Children will continue to be on my pull list, but this is one of those series that I'm not gonna pull it this week. I'm just gonna wait until it's discounted, because I can't foresee there being a shortage of this book. of the series at my LCS.
Specs, what are your thoughts, man?
I picked up 1A, and then the 1 in 25 is actually the B cover with the trade dress. That's Deladera, the dude who does the interiors. So I'm always a fan of a person that's doing interiors when they do a cover. I'm trying to figure out who the artist is. It's David Talski, or the hell that is. It did the 1 in 75. I'm not going to go buy the 1 in 75 on Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's a Norman Rockwell homage, right? And it's a book I'll keep an eye on, right? Because some of these like classic, like homages, like the Black Cat Le Chat Noir, right? I forget who did that cover, but like some of these like homages to like classic art over time, right? I think do pretty well. But I have like the same LCS I reference is the type of spot that like we'll market at $69.99 on Wednesday, and then like a month later I'll go in and be like, yo, can I get that for 25? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, So I just don't. I think everyone's feeling the same way about House of Slaughter, right? It didn't grab me like Something's Killing the Children.
No.
And I can see this dropping off pools very, very quickly. So the 1 in 75 is just a book that like our shop's still ordering 75. What is this looking like in print run? And I keep an eye on, but it's you can get it for less than $40, less than $30. I would grab the 1 in 75, but outside of that, no, it's just not compelling to me. I'm probably get crucified. Like I like Something's Killing the Children. I don't love it, like the whole story. Like I've read all 20 issues, of course, right? I think it's a good horror story. I think Erica's a really compelling character, and I think what they started to do with her training, I actually think Something's Killing the Children 20 is a major key. If Indie Keys ever went for money, that's a book that I would keep an eye on. Like if you can find it at a dollar bin and find 20 of them, I'd grab, because there's a lot of like universe expansion, but. Yeah, I mean, I think I haven't read. What number is this? 4, 3? I haven't read
4.
This is 4. I haven't read 2 or 3. Right, like it just didn't catch me. So, yeah, that would be my thought.
I think right off the gate, when number 1 didn't do so well, and I think this one just suffered from like everybody again. Oh my God, this is going to be just like Something's Killing the Children. It's going to be $1,000 book. It's going to be, I'm going to order 10 copies and I'm going to get this, and that's what happened. And, unfortunately it didn't work out that way. And you're kind of seeing it now, even into issue 4, like, like I said, there's a lot of these at my shop. You can still find you can find issue 1, issue 2, like they're still there. So
yeah, it's pretty telling. Like there's no store exclusives for this book. I just checked.
No.
Right. Because I think didn't they make an announcement? Boom did after that. What was it, issue 16 or 17? That
16 was the last one. Yeah, with nothing.
Yeah. There's also an unlockable variant. I'm not going to hunt it down, but I would just be curious. And the cover's not out yet. So, yeah, that Le Chat Noir is an amazing cover. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just think people, it's kind of with Stray Dogs. It's like they went so hard on so many covers for Something's Killing the Children that people are just, I think they're weary of it, right? Like, and so yeah, I mean, I'll take my A and my B and look for the 1 in 75 over time, and that's it. And if I never get the 1 in 75, it doesn't destroy my collection. So,
all right. Well, let's move on to comic news, fellas.
Oh, Newbie, there is just one issue that I think is worth noting, just because it's been on a long hiatus and it's making its return this week. Saga, number 55.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like I'm not reading it personally, but I know that a lot of I know a lot of friends that are fans of that series, so I know it's a big deal to them. Like when it's making its return, it's on issue 55, I believe, this week.
I'll also throw out there that we got duped on the Avengers Forever first appearance of Captain Carter. Avengers Forever number 2 comes out this week. Do what I would do and just go to your LCS and flip through the book, right? And if you see Captain Carter, grab them, right? I would grab them and then look. I would look at the shop, like grab. If you're gonna grab a copy, I try not to like flip through and put it back. I'll grab one copy, but flip through it. Like there's, I never see people doing that, and sometimes I've saved myself a ton of money and made my collection a ton of money by just like literally thumbing through the pages, right? And seeing, like, starting with the last page, right? Because that's usually when appearances will happen. So
yeah. And I don't think it's been hyped up as much either. So you might luck out and like the print run and all that stuff. But all right, comic news, gentlemen, let's get it going. So rumor has it, or it has been confirmed rather, Batman's massive runtime reportedly. It's 176 minutes. 3 hours. Do you
176 minutes, really? Wow.
Do you care? Are you going to sit through it? Is it going to be like Titanic where they give you a little break in between? What are your thoughts here? I mean, as long as the story's good, I've never complained when I go to a Marvel movie. They're like 2.5 hours usually, and it just seems like they fly by. So, I mean, I think that as long as the story's good, the movie's good, it keeps flowing. I don't think it's going to have any issues. But yeah, this made headlines this week. I don't know why these things make headlines. Like, you're going to see the movie. Does it really matter what the runtime is?
Oh, okay. So you just hit the nail on the head right there. If the pacing is well done on a movie, that runtime should be a moot point. If it like, because it's funny, where I'm actually gonna bring up another Batman movie that actually, well, I don't think it definitely didn't have like this long of a runtime, but Batman, The Dark Knight, that was over 2 hours. I think it's like 2.5 hours. I think
so. Yeah, I think you're right.
I've watched that movie multiple times to this day because it still never gets old for me. It's from the start to finish. The pacing was great, and it's just like. And then I've seen other movies, like maybe this might be an unpopular opinion, but Avengers Endgame. I like the movie overall, but for me, I don't know if I'll be able to watch it from start to finish, just because I do find that there was a bit of padding in that movie in certain scenes.
That's what fast forwarding is, man.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like structure is everything with these kind of movies, like and that's why like this runtime could be make or break. But again, it's all about how well the pacing is. So if it's done well, I don't think the runtime should be much of a factor.
I'm an old man. I need restroom breaks.
When is this hitting HBO? When is this hitting HBO? Like,
April.
Is it gonna be like okay. I mean, 176 minutes just advises me on when to take the edibles and how many to bring in. You know what I mean? No, I think 176 is fine. I mean, if they're gonna jam all those villains into this, right? I'm happy that it's longer, right? Like, I mean, you got to think about like how many movies did it take to get Riddler, Joker, Penguin, Catwoman? Who else is confirmed for this, right? Like that, like.
Doc Ock, Green Goblin.
Yeah, this is like the multiverse of madness in the DC world. It's like everybody's going to be in it. But no, I like that because you don't have to give a full origin story. But I also don't like for the general audience. As a comic book collector, I want the general audience to become informed, so they go hunt down the comic books. And like I need there has to be some level of character development for each. Some like baby origin story. That'd be dope.
That would be. Oh man.
Yeah. So like I don't mind it. I mean, I'd rather have that than something super short and all of a sudden it's like so like it seems like it's going to be like a cinematic masterpiece, right? That's long ass movies are like that, right?
Yeah.
Much less than like a Wonder Woman
Venom
84. 2? Yeah, Venom 2, Wonder Woman 84, which are like super short movies that are just like fight scene, Gal Gadot, scantily clad fight scene, shit talking. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm cool with it, man. I don't really go to theaters to be honest with you. But
I think the whole Wonder Woman thing though, like, I mean, I could stare at her for 3 hours in that cost. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think there's a difference there, but I mean, I think if the story's smooth, I mean, the 3 hours just kind of flies by, right? Like, I'll leave a Marvel movie being like, holy shit, that moved fast. That was 3 hours. That was 2.5. Like always, that's kind of one of my biggest things. It's like, holy crap. But North 49. Yeah. Dark Knight Rises was close to 3 hours too. Hopefully it's just as good. Yeah, absolutely.
I think Dark Knight Rises was actually longer than Dark Knight. I didn't bring up Dark Knight Rises because I did find it was a bit lower in quality than Dark Knight. It was still a great movie, but I just always put the Dark Knight a peg above that movie.
Yeah. Tim, I think we're all hoping for that. All right. Next piece of news. Eternals theory. Doctor Strange gave up the time stone to delay the emergence. What? I mean, it's possible, right? I mean, he looked into 14,650 possible futures. He must have seen this one, right? So there are some theories now. There are some rumors that they might, kind of mix in some eternal stuff, some cosmic stuff. Obviously, I think we already know that in the Doctor Strange movie that's coming up, but it is kind of interesting that he would have seen this, right? So I'm kind of intrigued with Doctor Strange. I've gone on air and I've talked to people, and I've said many times I'm more interested in Doctor Strange 2 than I was hyped up for Spider-Man No Way Home. I just thought that everything was already leaked out for No Way Home, and it basically was. Doctor Strange, it still got time to get leaked out, but at the same time, like I have a bigger appetite for the movie, or just excited more for the Doctor Strange movie, because I think it's just going to be like one of those like, whoa, what the fuck, like it's just going to get crazy. And there is also rumors about Doctor Strange having just a little bit more characters than we saw in Infinity War. What are your thoughts, Hype?
So here's the thing. I still haven't seen Eternals yet, even though now it's on Disney Plus. I still, you know what? Part of it has to do, if I'm being honest, part of it has to do with some of the negativity I've been hearing about it. It's just that I've been delayed. Like, I will get around to watching it. It's just that I have to set time for it. That's all. And I keep putting it off watching it. So, honestly, it's hard for me to really form much of an opinion right now on this.
Yeah, I guess I should have asked you, but I just assumed that everybody.
But don't worry about it
already.
because I've had this spoil. I've had certain things spoiled about this movie at this point, so I'm okay with it. I will watch it, but yeah, I haven't yet.
Specs, what are your thoughts here, man?
I'm like still trying to figure out why this matters, and like this whole theory and what it means, right? Like, I don't know.
That's what happens, right? These theories or these rumors come out, and then comic people are just like, "What does this mean? Does this mean Galactus is coming? Does this mean Silver Surfer?" It's like,
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, in terms of speculation, I speculate on the shows significantly more than the movies, because the movies, everything gets leaked earlier. There's early screenings. Like, I know in LA, like I know people that went and saw that like early screening of Spider-Man, right? So like, kind of the opinion that like people know more than me, and therefore. But like Multiverse of Madness, I'm looking forward to. I just don't. At this point, there's so much shit that they're saying is going to happen. It's either going to be like the world's biggest clusterfuck of a movie, or 95% of it isn't going to happen, right? It's like, and it's kind of, yeah, it's like, have you seen that poster where it's like Strange reaching through a portal and Wolverine's there? It's like, we're definitely getting the Illuminati. We're definitely getting this. We're definitely getting that. And it's like, are we definitely getting that? Right? Like, it's just like there's like a false root and things spring out of it, and the root itself is incorrect, right? And so, cool. Like, Doctor Strange gave up the time stone to delay the emergence. Sure. Like, so now, like, yeah, like, I don't know what that means, and I'm sure that I'll do some like deep diving into what that actually means. I'm like beyond specking on this movie at this point. I have the books that like people have been talking about, and it is what it is, right? Like, and I'll live with the aftermath. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like 14 million possible features, one fan theory. Like, so anybody, like literally, anybody. It's a theory that suggests, right? He foresaw a key event from Eternals, the emergence. Like, sure, man. I got a lot of theories too. Like, so anyway.
Well, listen. This next piece of news I think is going to be exciting, because I know that there was a few people that kind of just blew up when this next piece of news actually was. I mean, it was played out a little bit, but Marvel apparently had a meeting with Jaden Smith, and then Jaden Smith ended up taking this picture on his Twitter. And it wasn't really received that well, because a lot of people were like, no. My personal opinion, no. What are yours?
It's funny because there was actually another actor that people actually were hoping for would play Miles Morales.
The kid at the thing, right? The kid at the No Way Home. No, there was an African American kid.
No. The kid at the no. It's actually the thing is, for those of you that saw Cobra Kai, there was a young black kid named Kenny that was introduced in that series. He's been on other shows before, movies, and I've heard this from several YouTubers and all that were hoping that this would be the Miles Morales. Like, after seeing him, like, just his personality and all that. So But Jaden Smith, yeah, this is news to me. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about it, to be honest. I mean, I didn't hate the Jackie Chan reboot as much as some other people may have, but it was okay.
You saw that, but you didn't see Eternals when it came out. Okay, all right.
Well, also at the time, that came out like a decade ago, so I had a lot of time to see that movie. But honestly, I'm keeping an open mind on this. If this is true, if it is indeed true or not, just because people have surprised us.
Yeah. So wait, hold on a second. You want it to be true?
I'm saying if it is true, I'll keep an open mind to it. Like I'm not like raising my pitchforks and saying like no Jaden Smith for Miles. But
Okay.
if I had a choice, I will say that the kid from Cobra Kai would be a better fit. Just seeing both of them act, I don't know the actor's name, unfortunately. I just know him as Kenny from Cobra Kai.
There was a picture of this young African American with the hair. He was very stylish. I think he was in like a red suit. And actually BC, because the credit's got to go to him. BC actually showed me the pictures and he was like, man, why do you think that this kid is just like taking like, because nobody knew why the kid was there, but he was just taking pictures with all the cast members, right? Like Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, William like all these people. He was just taking pictures with them. And then, BC was like, man, do you think that maybe that's just like the Miles thing, or maybe they just fucked with it because of the Miles?
Like they're just doing trolling or something?
So I don't know. Specs, I know you're big on Miles. What are your thoughts if Jaden Smith here plays Sir Miles Morales?
I mean, do people forget that Miles speaks Spanish and is half Puerto Rican? You know what I mean?
I think they do all the time. I usually remind people that.
Like his dad's dead and his mom is the Puerto Rican one, right? So like I mean, they're gonna have to have someone that can speak a little bit of Spanish and at least like sound whatever.
Well, Jaden Smith does have that one rap song with Ricky Jams. So I'm just saying.
Qualified. No, I mean, my concern more than anything is that it's going to be Sony, right? And like that's what's disappointing. I'm a massive Miles fan. Like I'm trying to collect all Miles books. I think my collection is more of a. I don't sell a lot of books, but like I just want to have a dope collection. I want to be able to give my kids, and my kids, Miles is Spider-Man, right? So to have Miles doesn't have 100 individual titles yet, right? So like at least be like, here's the first 100 Miles books, right? And obviously it's a different world, but like it'd be the same thing as having them all the first ASM books. Whether it's the kid from Stranger Things or the kid from Cobra Kai or the kid from The Thing, he could be there too. Or Jaden Smith, I don't really care as long as they make it true to character and they make good movies, and I'm just really concerned on the Sony front, right? Like I think there's obviously some very important castings to be had, right? Like I think Starling will be really important. So I don't care who they do, just like make sure the movie's written well. Make sure that it's not, my big thing, I thought he would be in No Way Home. He wasn't. I mean, obviously he's mentioned. It's just like, don't kill the window either. Right. Yeah. Like, everyone's like, oh, we have plenty of time. Like, but comic books are hot right now. Miles is hot right now. Like, don't wait until 12 years to do a Miles movie. Right. And so, and get someone that can play him for 10, 15 years, but Miles is young, and then get someone that can speak decent Spanish. Like give me a CBR, give me an article about like one of these people taking like Spanish 2 at Santa Monica City College, and I'm like, that's him right there, just like cop Rosetta Stone, like one year full like subscription to Rosetta Stone. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that like part of it, obviously he's half black as well, and I think it's super important, but I also think that they go just that route and don't tie it back to him being multi-ethnic, multicultural, Spanish speaker, all of that. They don't keep that there. I think that they're kind of failing Miles as a character. So man, that's
got more expectations and more things you need to do than like to be a coach for the Montreal Canadiens. You have to speak French, you have to speak English, you have to. Holy crap!
It's Miles Morales, bro.
Clearly, you don't have to win.
And you don't have to win too, right? All right.
I live in Montreal, so I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, no, that's why I said it. All right. They have started, I guess, being leaked out, but there are some secret invasion stuff happening. So they're in Russia, I guess. Yeah, there are lots of Russian signs that are hanging. Oh no, so there's just Russian signs. So there you go. From Halifax Tees. Halifax is up here in Canada, so I don't know if they're up here in Canada doing this. I have no idea. But I don't think that this is going to be the first and last thing that we see with Secret Invasion. I can't remember the release date on this, but I thought it was 2022, late 2022, if not early 2023.
It's supposed to. No, I think it's supposed to be in the 2022 calendar year.
Yeah, I thought it was November.
It's got to be 23 because like my big thing is Marvel needs to push to 2 shows a week, right? So if you look at the timeline, they're doing basically a show. I guess they could do it, a show a quarter, right? I mean, now it's like Marvel, then Star Wars, then Marvel, then Star Wars, right? So right now we're in Star Wars. Q2 will be Moon Knight. Q3 will be probably She-Hulk. Q4 will be Miss Marvel. So I don't even know how they could get this into the calendar.
I always forget about the Marvel one.
Yeah, because there's 6 to 8 episodes. That's weekly. Then they do a couple week break, and then Star Wars is on, right? And I just don't know how they're going to squeeze 4 shows into a year.
I think this one is the most intriguing one. I think this one's gonna have a lot to say. I think just as much as people were hyped about the Loki one, I think that this one's gonna have just as much. I mean, Secret Invasion, Skrulls, all that. We might get more information on, Samuel L. Jackson. They kind of hinted at it at the Spider-Man thing as well. Talos, we're gonna know, okay, what's Talos doing here? He's obviously an ally because Fury trusts him and things like that. So I think it's going to be interesting. Plus, we got to keep in mind this next show that we see with Moon Knight and movies moving forward. No one remembers who Spider-Man is, right? So it's just kind of a clean slate. I kind of was saying something earlier to somebody when we were talking about Moon Knight, and I said, just remember, Spider-Man, like nobody knows who he is anymore, right? So there's like that clean slate and all that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very intrigued with this show. And I think it's kind of slept on. But yeah, I'm happy. In a way, I'm kind of happy that things are getting leaked out because, I kind of want to start doing what, crazy comic people do. And, we read in the lines and a lot of things and, certain books get hot because of it. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, listen, if anything, like you said, I think, with everything else going on, I do feel that 8-issue Secret Invasion, just when we get more news and rumors, when we're close to that release date, I can see that 8-issue thing being not out of reach, but because right now I actually just bought the set over the weekend for like $30. And I know that it's selling for like 50-60 bucks Canadian, which is fine for an 8-issue series, but yeah, I could see this going up, but like the whole series itself, I think is just going to be a conduit just for other branching MCU movies, like as is every other show. But I just feel this show in particular, I don't see it having a resolution per se, as more of just, it's almost going to be not like an infomercial, but it's just going to be a giant promo for like everything going on with Skrulls and future Marvel projects.
No, I can't wait, man.
I just think they're gonna do a lot of cameos, right? Like they'll probably do like it'll be not cameos of new characters, but cameos of people that have played Marvel characters in the past.
Yeah.
And then like bring them back, like Chris
They
Evans.
better not bring Iron Man back. I better not see Robert Downey Jr.
Like there could be Chris Evans, right? There could be a few others. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of one of those things where it's like they can do whatever they want. They can erase whatever. They can be like, oh yeah, like we fucked up who America. Yeah, we fucked up who played America Chavez. Like she's a Skrull. Like recast her, right? Like they could.
Well, that's the thing. Right? Yeah.
And so
that with the multiverse too, like you could do that anytime, right? And I think that works because it also helps them with things like moving forward, like Chadwick Boseman too, right? Like if anything were to happen to any characters, whether it be obviously not death, but like contract disputes or things like that, they can kind of just move on without that character, right? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. All right, guys, final piece of comic news. Obviously, the Moon Knight trailer broke the internet last Monday. I mean, we knew it was coming, so like I don't know why anybody was surprised. I had buddies of mine be like, "Dude, I can't believe." Like I finished telling them on Sunday, "Hey guys, the Moon Knight thing is coming out on Monday." Like it's everywhere, and they act surprised. But anyway, as we crazy comic people do, we break down this video and watch it in like 1/250th speed, and we dissect everything. This was the big one that came out of the trailer. He's in a van. He just shot somebody, or one of his personalities did, and then right behind them, you can see that there's a box that says Von D. Now, it doesn't say Doom, but I mean, obviously we can imagine. So now, people are kind of saying, oh, Dr. Doom's going to be in it. I don't think Dr. Doom is going to be in the Moon Knight show. I don't think Dr. Doom is going to drop on a show. He is arguably a top 3 villain for Marvel, so there's no way that they would just drop him in Moon Knight, especially considering that, and I'll go and say this, that, Moon Knight is not a list. So just relax. He could get there one day. You never know. But yeah, what are your thoughts here? Are we reading too much into it, or maybe is it Von Dutch?
No, okay. Actually, you know what? I'll clear up the whole thing right now, because Jeff from Geek Driven, actually, just to plug again, Moonlit Comics trailer breakdown that we did on Friday, we actually spoke about this particular screenshot, and he said that Von D, it actually is a cupcake company. Apparently, when you look at the other crates, it's not Von Doom or anything like that. Those crates, those cartons belong to a cupcake company. Now, I don't know if that actual cupcake company actually exists, but for the purpose of that show, that's what that's what those cartons belong to. So yeah. So again, maybe like the whole his back kind of hiding behind and just covering only, and then the D just being visible. Maybe that was done by design just to get us talking. But yeah, it wasn't actually. It doesn't say Von Doom on the actual cardboard.
Hey, listen, you go and look. Dr. Doom books have gone up in price since last week. So,
but the thing is, it was going to be inevitable. I mean, he is going to come at some point in the MCU, so his books were going to spike regardless. But if people are going off of that particular image, yeah, it was. I think it was just a swerve. No, it definitely was a swerve.
no.
But and yeah, I do agree that Moon Knight is a B list, because he's almost like that cult. I almost how do I?
It's just funny because like it's got a following. Don't get me wrong, he's got a following, but like after this, it's like anything, right? Like a team wins a Stanley Cup or the Super Bowl, everybody jumps on that team, and I've been a fan. I remember somebody telling me when Vegas came out. I don't know if they knew I liked hockey just because like I'm Latin and they didn't think I like sports. But I remember like when Vegas came into the NHL, and he's like, man, I've been a Vegas fan for like 3 years. And I'm like, man, they haven't even played a game yet.
Well,
Like,
okay, so the thing is, I don't know if I'm gonna offend people when I say this, but Moon Knight is almost like the hipster favorite of like the hipster comic collector. Almost like those people. Like this is just what I've noticed, how they shun mainstream collectors, but then they'll say, I dig Moon Knight. This is obviously before the show. Like I've noticed that, like I had a buddy of mine who stopped collecting comics, but he was into Darkhawk and Moon Knight for whatever reason. It's just one of those characters that's like that has a cult following, that that I would just put him in the B tier, not so much A, but B. So yeah.
Specs, what are your thoughts, man? Now that we know it's a cupcake company, Dr. Doom stuff, is already expensive, and we know we're getting Fantastic Four. So it shouldn't be a surprise. But like, were you surprised when you saw this at first?
I mean, who the fuck cares? Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be like, it's like, here's the thing: we're getting Victor Von Doom at some point. Like, there's no way they aren't going to put him on the screen at some point. It's impossible, right? They have a box that has 4 letters on it, right? It's like it's like cool. Like, what is this? What does that mean? Like, I don't know. It's like if you haven't been buying Doom books since before speculation even happened, like this doesn't. I mean, if they would have had something that spoke specifically to something about Doom, like Yeah, exactly. Like Lavatrian something, and you knew that like that they're introducing the idea of Lavatria into continuity, which means like maybe the story picks up from when there's Lavatria and all that type of stuff. Yeah, but like there's other Von Dooms as well, right? I mean, there's I think Christoph, his son, is like changed his last name to Von Doom. Like this is fan service. This, like you can't think that the people making these shows don't watch frame by frame breakdowns. So like, what we're gonna do? We're gonna fuck with someone.
Oh man, it's but it's like anything. Like I joke, right? Where it's like a trailer comes out, it's like the 864.2, Easter eggs you missed. It's like, okay,
and they know
the trailer
that,
was
right?
20 seconds. How did I miss that?
Like it's like no press is bad press, right? So if people are talking about the one frame with some letters on a box, it's promoting Moon Knight the show, right? And they know what they're doing. I think Moon Knight as a whole, I think we're all right, like B list, C list, whatever. Like I think that lends to a significantly bigger advantage for us as comic book collectors and speculators, because
more under the radar.
Yes, exactly. A girl I dated 10 years ago sent me a text and says, I know, do you still collect comics? If not, this Moon Knight thing seems big. I love Oscar Isaacs, right? And I'm like,
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, that's exactly the point, right? It's because there's no expectations. You're introducing the character. Like this isn't like a mainstream character. Obviously, when you talk about like mental health issues, there's no better time than coming out of a pandemic where that's sensitive to people. Like I think the Moon Knight will be big in the way that, you're introducing a character that no one really knows. There's not like this prototype of that character to people, right?
Yeah.
And I think that all my friends, you guys are my only homies that collect comics, but like all my friends in real life, like they watch all the Marvel shows and they always hit me up and like they're geeked for Moon Knight because they don't know anything about Moon Knight and the trailer looks dope, right? And so yeah.
But yeah, and I actually did mention that exact point that Spexman mentioned on Friday, where I said that, just because they have visual cues from characters that haven't appeared in the MCU, that could just be a tip of the hat from Marvel, just kind of paying homage to certain properties. But that doesn't mean that those characters are going to appear on that show. It's just like if any of you guys are gamers and you played the Batman Arkham series, if you go around the city, they'll have little Easter eggs of Batman villains that don't actually appear in the game. It's just their way of nodding to some of the properties of DC or Batman. So it's the same thing with Marvel.
Yeah. If it was a character that like we weren't expecting, and it was like a definitive last name, like what's like Gambit's last name or something, like a LeBeau. Yeah, I'd be like, oh shit, that's kind of crazy, but it's Doom. Like we're getting Doom.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just think people went nuts because like I remember when the trailer came out, like I had people messaging me like that Monday during the football game and even afterwards, like, yo, man, okay, so when they bring Doom in, I think it's going to bring this character into Moon Knight. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, you honestly think that they're going to bring Doom and Reed Richards in Moon Knight? No, they're not. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong, right? But like, it just doesn't make sense.
I don't want you to be wrong because Doom doesn't deserve to be his first appearance. Shouldn't be on the small screen. It should be on the big screen.
That's what I mean. All right, let's get into it. We got time, and I apologize. The conversations just kept flowing, so we kind of went out of time. So, Specsman's got a spec he wants to talk about. I was able to get the picture, but let's see if it pops up. Boom. All right, Specsman. And usually I do great presentations and a lot of information, but Specsman wanted to talk about this one. Came in a little bit late. I was busy because I had shit to do. But Specsman wanted to talk about Thor 300, and he actually opened my eyes to this book with a few things. But Specs, take it away.
Yeah, so found this book in the wild yesterday. It's a book I always pick up when I see it, 300 and 301, right? They're keys. So I read it last night. I think the bullet points are there's 26 first appearances in this book. Like
26?
26 first appearances in this book. Now, who those appearances are, in my opinion, is what's really relevant. So basically, Ashram, which we'll get into in a second, the Celestial, is on Earth and he's just posted. And he's like observing Earth for 50 years to decide its fate, right? So Odin and Zeus, both confirmed characters for Love and Thunder, call a meeting of all the other gods, like Earth gods, right? So first appearance of Buddha is in this book. First appearance in Marvel continuity, right? I know it sounds crazy, right? First appearance of Vishnu. First appearance, like that's all. Like it's the whole entire pantheon of Earth-based gods, right? That make all of their first appearance in this book, right? And then about like what are we going to do about this? Like if the Celestials decide to destroy Earth, we're all dead because we need believers, right? And it's laughable, right? It's definitely like, damn, that's crazy. I mean, like, who's specking on Buddha? I guess I am, but like, so basically, they decide to like build this sword, and then, long story short, Thor and like all the Eternals show up, and they side with Thor, and then they fight the Celestials, get their ass kicked, and then Ashram decides to save Earth, and like that's the end of the issue, right? And so here is my piece, right? And this is far out spec, but like who do we know that we're getting in God and Thunder, Love and Thunder? We know we're getting Gore, of course, right? We know we're getting Zeus, obviously Odin, right? So you're mixing Greek and Norse religion, right? What is Gore's like tagline? He's the God Butcher, right? And so if you read God of Thunder, like the whole first 9, Jason Aaron, right? That whole first run, like Gore's pissed about the gods because they failed him when he was like starving and eating like, I don't know, like tumbleweed root or whatever on his planet, and his wife dies, right? And he's pissed off because he prayed and prayed and prayed. I think Thor was there earlier in his life. And they let him die. He gets pissed. He finds the Necro sword from Nolan, whoever else was fighting, picks it up, goes and becomes the God Butcher, right? And in that storyline, he just goes from like different universes and kills a bunch of random gods and that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Where my head is at on this is it's Love and Thunder plus like possible Eternals key, right? Which is if Gore remains the God Butcher, what gods is he going to kill? Is he going to kill some like we've never heard of this space god? Or if we already have Zeus and Odin, so we already have Norse and Greek mythologies in Marvel continuity, what's to stop him from going and killing Vishnu, like all these other gods from other religions that are earthbound, right? That'll be, and I think that's a great opportunity for cameos, right? Like if he's killing this god and that god and this god and that god, like you could have someone play, be in the movie for 3 minutes, it's like the Bill Murray thing about Ant-Man, right? And so you have all those gods. That's their first appearance, right? I mean, even if it doesn't happen in Love and Thunder, it's still there. It's still like if Buddha ever pops up, this book's gonna pop up. Like, and it's literally like every god, like everyone except for Jesus is in this fucking book, right? So that's the first piece, right? The second piece is towards the end. When we're talking about the Celestials, we're talking about Ashram, we're talking about him like judging Earth. We're talking about Thor like stabs him with his sword, and Ashram like takes it, and Thor thinks he kills him, and Ashram's like, "No, I'm just like analyzing the metal in the sword. Like, good job, but you didn't kill me." So I think that goes back towards the end of Eternals when no, like I guess like no spoilers, I guess. But long story short, this Celestial is the main Celestial in that movie, and when the movie ends, he's still alive, looking for planets, right? And so. I just think that like it's a book. A 9.8 sold for $85 last month by accident. It's usually like a $300 book and 9.8, but it's a book you can go dig. I think I have 4 or 5. Yeah, the Skylords, the Young Gods.
I've seen this book in the wild.
Yeah, and it's a book that you can grab in the wild. It has all those first appearances. If it doesn't, and then the Eternals side with Thor and all this shit against the Celestials. So like, look, like, do we know this is going to happen for sure? No, but like, what is how like $8 to $10? Like, you're probably people are going out buying like something's killing the children 18, 1 in 25. That's never going to do anything. This is a book from 1980. It's a book with a black cover, so in high grade is going to be harder to find. You have 25 things that could happen in this book to make this book spike, right? Yep. So, just a book that I like kind of read last night, and I'm like, damn, I need to buy more of these, right? Like,
those are good. Those are good odds, though. That situation kind of brings me to like some of the G.I. Joe stuff, right? There's a lot of G.I. Joe books that that have like, 20 appearances in the book, and people sometimes overlook it. And I think it's like very valuable. So yeah, that's pretty good.
The only thing, yeah, I do agree that, yeah, obviously, like, they are gonna definitely have more gods to feed, gore to kill in the movie. It's just that when it comes to, let's just call them mainstream gods, so to speak, I would think it would be a PR nightmare for Disney if they had, like, let's say Buddha, meeting his demise,
Yes.
and then they're trying to, push that movie in China or something like that. So that's why I'm a bit hesitant when, like, I feel like there's going to be gods that are more relics that are going to be killed off. But in terms of mainstream gods, they might pop up maybe as a cameo, but I can't
Buddha
see
is a
them
bad
being...
example, but they have all these like gods from like dead religions. Like Quetzalcoatl is first, right, and like, and they're all here. I mean, like if I don't know, I'm trying to think. Like if some random person gets cast as Quetzalcoatl in Love and Thunder, this book is everyone's gonna go and be like, who's Quetzalcoatl? It's Mexican god, like indigenous god, right? Like who, like where is their first appearance in comic books? Because some person got cast. It all ties back to this book, right? Like, so I don't think that they'll kill Jesus or Vishnu or Buddha or any of them, but there's 23 other gods that appear in this book, and if any of them get cast and killed, it's this book. So
yeah,
no, it makes sense. All right, I got one book for the spec this week. Again, just because we're running a little bit late, but it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, people. So we got one book, and again, it's going back to a lot of the Ghost Rider stuff that I was actually on. All right, and this one is because I seen it today, and I was like, wait a minute, do I need more? Do I have any? So this is Ghost Rider number 2. A human demon hybrid. What? That's crazy. Why? Well, he creates, light canceling darkness fields and has vampire like abilities enhanced by metal fangs and claws. So you got like the robotic side, you got the tech side, you got the vampire stuff. We know that the horror world is starting to be created. With Blade coming in and things like that, they're starting to, the Moon Knight even, all that stuff is kind of getting kicked off. Marvel has already come out and said, hey, we want to have all these different worlds. Ghost Rider is becoming hot. Danny Ketch is becoming hot. So I don't know, at this point, who knows what Ghost Rider we get? But all of them have seemed to have, risen in price. Obviously, the Danny Ketch book was a super hot book. Late November, December. A lot of those villains I've already picked up. We've already talked about them, but this is, low risk, high reward. I mean, an easy villain. I don't know why I put for Balder. I guess this guy, I think he has ties to Balder as well, but an enhanced vampire, just a low risk, high reward, especially, I always talk about like bringing in those, you don't have to bring in your home run villain to certain people. You could just bring in somebody that you could kill. Similar to what I said about, Fantastic Four. Like, you don't necessarily need to bring Dr. Doom first movie. You don't need to bring Silver Surfer, Galactus first movie. Bring in somebody like Molecule Man or, some, Oculus or something stupid. And if somebody out there likes Oculus and that's your character, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend. But, just things like that. I sometimes try to connect the dots. And I strongly believe in some of the characters that they try to reintroduce sometimes, just to kind of see how it's going to work. I do think that they don't necessarily need to hit a home run with it, but this is definitely a book, like I said, low risk, high reward. It sells in the wild for $1 or $2. On eBay, they were going for about 8 to 10. So you know what that really means. Skip the eBay, just go and find it in the wild for yourself. What do you guys thought? Do you guys have anything to add for this book?
So I was actually looking for this book on the low end. Basically because I think this villain was kind of popped up during that whole Midnight Suns rumor. This was the character that they kind of linked to that whole project. And actually AOA brought this up in the chat, and actually that was the actual variant that I was actually looking for, and my shop did have it, but they sold it to somebody else. It was the action figure variant. It's like the same book that basically that came in. Then the distinction is it comes like where you see like that normal Spider-Man logo at the bottom, it would be like a ribbon at the corner. That's how you know it's the action figure one. This is one of those books that, like, obviously nothing's confirmed, but it's one of those things that it's like, if you find it in the wild, stash it. and you never know. It's the same thing. Like I would say the same thing about the Midnight Suns. I mean, we have the Midnight Suns video game coming out, but in terms of MCU project, nothing's really been confirmed, and it still surprises me at how much those books are going for. But again, just as much as those like issue 31 and 28, issue 2 is not as pricey as it, but you know, it's just one of those books that it doesn't hurt to have in your PC.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think that Ghost Rider is definitely one of those books where like he's a standalone character with not a lot of standalone villains, right?
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't have a lot of people whose ass to kick, right? And I although he's like spawned of Satan, I don't think I still consider him almost street level, right? He's like Punisher, where he's like beating up bikers and shit. You know what I mean? Like he's not like in. Well, I guess Cosmic Ghost Rider, he was in space. Blackout is the spawn of Lilith. Like Lilith creates him, and obviously, you know, a lot of speculation on Lilith, Midnight Suns, all of that type of stuff. So I think like his origin story, you know, you're building again. This is spec building on top of spec, but his origin story is tied to a character that we're, you know, most people are considering almost confirmed that something's going to happen in the realm of Midnight Suns. I think that this is one of those types of books that it was spiked for a minute. You know, you know, some of these books I think about in the sense that like they're going, and then I think TiVo and Mike said this, right? And this book went skyrocketed, right? Yeah. And then this book has come down. I think finding it in the back issue bin is going to be tough, right? But
I found 2 today.
Really? That's dope. Yeah. I mean, like you'll find it from time to time, but it's like, you know, like every place you go, going and pulling it out of the run. But I always think about things that like how many people's buy-in was at that high point, right? So its ability to have like the floor to drop is not as much, right? So like if a bunch of people bought in at $50 and you can still go and get this book at $8, well, you know, all those copies that sold between 8 and 50, no one, you know, you already have money on top. You already have a margin on top of them.
Yeah.
Right. And so, funny enough, I was looking at a lot of the Gore books today, and they're all cheap as shit right now. Right. Yeah. And it's like if you can get this book, this is a very easy like eBay preset your auction number, ends at 2 a.m. and grab a 9.6 for $45 type book. You know what I mean? And that's what I personally like. Yes, target the raws, but keep an eye out for the 9.8s, but also like, you know, nothing wrong with a 9.6 if you get it cheap enough, right? And chances are that if this character pops off and you pull this out of a dollar bin and you submit it to get graded, hoping it's a 9.8, like that's a big gamble. So I think that it's Ghost Rider number 2. Ghost Rider in general sells for a ton, even books that don't matter. And Spawn of Lilith, easy villain to kill, like a book probably, you know, I think worth grabbing if you can get it for under $5-6 for sure.
Yeah. And it's a perfect hold too. Like it's low risk. Like, I mean, you know, I think that there's different trends with certain things, but like, you know, some of the things that happen with characters that show up. And I mean, I get it. We have seen Ghost Rider already. We've had him, you know, Nicolas Cage and all that. But like when they reintroduce them, I think that they're going to try to go different levels, and they always try to connect with people who aren't necessarily the comic book fans. Right. So definitely something that I would keep an eye on. Cause again, my strategy is I don't think, you know, they're going to hit home runs with like a lot of these characters. So yeah, we'll see. And you can find a lot of the Ghost Rider stuff fairly cheap. So just something to be on the lookout for. All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for hopping on. Before we go, Hype, let us know. Thank you for your presence today, but let us know, what do you got coming up? Are there any shows you're going to be going on anytime soon? Because I know you were doing some stuff with Moonlit, and you were on a few different shows from time to time the last couple of weeks. So anything that you want to let the people know about?
Yeah, like as we mentioned before, like I was on Moonlit Comics Moon Knight trailer this past Friday, so definitely check that out on her channel. It's her first video, so I know that she'll be putting out more videos in the forefront, and I might be a part of those episodes. We'll see. And in terms of stuff that I'm involved in, Just a Recon Comics also gave us a shout out on his channel this afternoon.
Who did? Sorry?
Just a Recon.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Definitely check him out. He actually does good stuff for the community, where he kind of highlights channels that are growing, and you know, he spotlights different channels in the community that might not get as many eyeballs as like some of your bigger channels. So, you know,
he did that for me when I started.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I was on there.
yeah. There are several channels that I think came through his channel that I went on to do big things. So definitely check it out. And in terms of us, what we're doing, Comic Kingpins, we do have our 250 giveaway show tomorrow at 7 p.m. So it's just a show that we're trying to show appreciation to the community for riding with us and just taking time out of their Mondays to give us a watch. We always go on every Mondays at 7 p.m. but especially tune in tomorrow where we'll be giving out some cool stuff.
Sweet.
We might have some few surprises here and there. So yeah.
Oh, that usually means a lot. Specsman, thanks for joining, man. Anything you want to let the people know? Anything that you're doing or you want to highlight?
No, man. I've been trying to get a little bit more active on Instagram, social media follow. Not even doing that to like gain more followers, more so like I've been trying to dump a lot of spec on there. I mean, shit that I read a lot, so might as well get it there. I had the whole entire Thor thing written up, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be on Newbie tonight. I might as well share it there if I have a second.
Man.
So
yeah, next time I'll put it in like a nice PowerPoint, and have all the numbers and stuff.
Yeah, just shoot me a follow. I try to just and I get my books on Tuesday, and usually I've read my books by 2-3 p.m. PST on Tuesday, all the new releases. So a little bit of a spoiler alert, but also if you want to keep an eye, I'm going to start trying to be like, this happened in this book. Make sure you pick it up tomorrow, right? And so keep an eye out for that.
Yep, always appreciative. Again, if you're not into the spoilers, be wary what you see. Some people like them, some people don't. I love it. So I follow you. I mean, we talk almost every day. But yeah, appreciate you hopping on, man. As always, guys, appreciate both of you for joining me tonight. The chat, I mean, we were at like 70 live, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know, it's late Sunday on East Coast, so I appreciate you guys for hanging out. 3,000 subscriber giveaway. There's no movie. There's no video for it, but I did post some of the books and prizes that are given out. I think it's a 329 to go. So we're getting there. There's probably going to be more instruction and more prizes shown as we kind of get closer and closer. So be on the lookout for that. And Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be back. I believe BC is going to be on there. I believe Face is going to be on there. I'm not 100%, but we're going to be kicking it. So make sure you guys go check us out on Tuesday at 9:35. Also, don't forget Ozzy. Make sure you guys go check out Ozzy's channel. He just dropped that behind the scenes or behind the studio hype. What's it called? Fuck, I'm terrible.
Inside the studio.
Inside the studio, not behind the studio.
It's,
yeah, don't go behind the studio. Inside the studio. With me, it's just kind of like outside of comics and stuff like that. I mean, there's comic talk in there, but you know what I mean. So make sure you guys go check out Comic Ozzy's channel and check it out. Outside of that, gentlemen, any last words?
Nah, man. Read your comic books.
All right. That's a
visit the library.
I like. No, you know what? I kind of like that. Like as soon as you said, I'm like, I like that. Fuck. Hey, read your comic.
Support your local libraries, everyone.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Later.